I can't believe this. So, two police officers have been sentenced to a total of 13 years in prison for drug trafficking. Yes, the police are now dealing in drugs. Well, not the entire police department in Ghana, just these two people, and they have been sentenced to a total of 13 years in prison. Now, let me narrate how all this happened. You see, their trial lasted for over 4 years. Their names are Assistant Superintendent of Police ASP Nasiru Amadu, and then the second police officer was known as Corporal Emmanuel Minta. This is how the story unfolded. You see, around 2023, the Assistant Superintendent of Police ASP Amadu Nasiru, this guy was the second in command at the Sakumono District Police Headquarters. And then the other guy who was also arrested, Emmanuel Minta, Corporal Emmanuel Minta, was working as a service driver under ASP Nasiru Amadu. So as they were at the police headquarters, one other police officer whose name is ASP NS Kofi suspected their activities and then reported it to the police. Now, after reported the incident to the police, a police officers put an eye on these two, Nasiru Amadu and then Emmanuel Minta. Now, so one day on November 19th, 2023, the same police officers who lodged complaint about his colleagues, that officer NS Kofi, was on duty at a snap checkpoint along the Ho Accra Road. So whilst he was there, he received an intelligence call from somebody telling him that a police vehicle, a Nissan Navara belonging to the police with a registration number GP727, which was moving along the road on which he was carrying narcotics, like large amounts of narcotics, which they were transporting from Ho to Accra. So NS Kofi paid attention, waiting for that particular police vehicle to arrive. So ASP NS Kofi waited at the checkpoint until about 7:15 that same day. The vehicle arrived, and when the vehicle arrived, even though it was a police vehicle, a Nissan Navara belonging to the police, NS Kofi, having received a call telling him that the vehicle contains narcotics, he stopped the vehicle and demanded that he had to inspect the vehicle. Lo and behold, they inspected the vehicle, and guess what? They found 8 sacks inside the vehicle, and these 8 sacks were containing 541 parcels of compressed substances which were suspected to be narcotics. So immediately the two officers in the vehicle, ASP Nasiru Amadu and then Corporal Emmanuel Minta, who was the driver, were immediately arrested. So you are probably wondering how these two police officers were able to get this large amount of narcotics. Now, here's how they got it. You see, the driver, Corporal Emmanuel Minta, had a relative who lives at Ashama Tulaku. Now, Ashama Tulaku is a community located in the Greater Accra region. Now, the relative who lives in Ashama Tulaku contacted Corporal Emmanuel Minta and then told him that if he is able to transport this amount of narcotics from a community around Volta region known as Pekichubu, so if Corporal Emmanuel Minta is able to transport the narcotics from Pekichubu in the Volta region to Ashama Tulaku, then he is going to give him some amount of money. Now, this guy got interested. Corporal Emmanuel Minta became interested in the deal. Now, he couldn't do it alone because they need a way to do it. So he also contacted his boss at work, and his boss at work was ASP Nasiru Amadu. So ASP Nasiru Amadu also took the contact of Minta's relative. Now, the guy's name, the guy who lived at Ashama Tulaku, he was identified at Oluman. That was his name, Oluman. Now, they took the number of Oluman, and then he told him that, yes, I can help your relative transport it. This was ASP Nasiru Amadu speaking. Like, I can help your relative transport it easily. You know, I'm a police, and because I'm a police, if we put these narcotics in our car, you know, police won't stop another police to check their car. normal, right? So if you have the narcotics in the police vehicle, nobody will check it. We will just be passing through the barriers, pass, and then bring them to you. But you must pay me this amount of money. Oluman agreed. Why not? If he doesn't agree, how is he going to transport a whole 541 parcels of narcotics from Volta region all the way to Accra? So he agreed. So after the agreement was done and signed, the day was 19th November 2023. ASP Nasiru Amadu took a police vehicle and then gave it to his driver, whose name is Corporal Emmanuel Minta. So they drove from the Sakumono District Police Headquarters all the way to the Volta region. Over there, around an area known as the Pekichubu, there was a Benz bus vehicle waiting for them. Though when they got there, they offloaded the narcotics from the bus into the police vehicle and then started moving from Volta region all the way to Accra. It was then that the other police officer at the checkpoint, whose name is ASP NS Kofi, received the call and then put an eye on them. So they were arrested. When they were arrested, now investigation revealed that these two officers, Corporal Emmanuel Minta and then ASP Amadou Nasiru, it wasn't the first time they are engaging in illegal operation. This was the second time. So they were arraigned before court, and the case has been in court since 2023 until recently that they were sentenced to 5 and 10 years in prison respectively for unlawful possession of narcotics and then conspiracy to traffic narcotic. Additionally, they were given a fine of 120,000 Ghana cedis. And if they are not able to pay the 120 Ghana cedis, they are to serve an additional 3 years to the already 15 years. So that will be in total 18 years in prison for unlawful possession of narcotics and then conspiracy to transport or traffic narcotics.